Hello, good morning, everybody. Hawk squall to noya, hawk than squallin, quins quachnomi out. So in the language of the Squamish peoples and Adina Williams, hello everybody, and I am so happy to see all of you here today on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular, the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Musqueam. I'd like to thank Lois Naherney, Jill Earthy, Laurel Douglas, and the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade for organizing this day of idea sharing and learning. I think it's fair to say that all of us here today wants to be treated fairly and equally, regardless of the attributes that we cannot control. And frankly, that is what this event is all about. At its core, it is about demanding and expecting nothing less for women in the workplace than equal respect. As a woman in politics, as a woman in engineering and the construction industry, as someone who has worked at exploration camps in the Yukon, trained with the Canadian Armed Forces, I can personally attest to the fact that we have a lot of work to do for women when it comes to male-dominated industries. Here in Canada, we unfortunately have a very long history of women being excluded in the workforce, even though women have been some of our most innovative pioneers. For example, the exceptional Elizabeth McGill, also known as Elsie. In 1927, this outstanding woman was the first in Canada to receive a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in aeronautical engineering. Not only that, she was the first woman to become an aircraft designer in the entire world. She rejected the label of woman engineer, insisting that gender was absolutely no barrier to her ability to succeed in her profession of choice. Since Elsie's time, the number of women attending university has grown dramatically. In 2016, 53% of students in the public post-secondary system were female. But female students are still underrepresented in technology-related areas of study, such as sciences, engineering, mathematics, at only 37%. There are many factors that inhibit women and girls embarking on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, or STEAM careers, many of which are still traditionally held by men. These factors could include cultural norms, role models or the lack thereof, and workplace perceptions. In my professional life, working in male-dominated industries, I too have had firsthand experience of the unfair perceptions of women that can exist in male-dominated workplaces. There is sexism still. Of this, I have absolutely no doubt. And it takes on many, many forms. For me, it went from casual comments about my appearance to a moment that I have burned in my memory where a colleague had declared to our entire team that I was just a little girl trying to do a man's job. And I am here to tell you that while it is normal to have doubts and sometimes question whether you feel like the work you are doing is a good fit for you, never, ever let somebody else tell you that you don't belong somewhere because you are a woman. It's fair to say that in 1927, Elsie McGill didn't have very many female role models. But that is not the case for us today. We are so fortunate to have so many inspiring women here today at your very tables. The speakers that you'll hear from today, like BC's Lieutenant Governor Janet Austin, Minister Mary Ng. Your participation today helps to create an equal tomorrow for people in BC. For far too long, people have not been able to get ahead in this province. This has been especially true for women and minority groups. And our government wants to make a life that is better for all people in BC. Supporting gender equity is just one way to do that. But talk isn't enough. We must take real and serious steps. That's why our provincial budget in February has put the priorities of women front and center. We made a historic $1 billion investment in childcare, the largest in BC history, helping parents, especially women, raise families while pursuing their careers. Our increase to a $15 minimum wage raises incomes for the lowest paid people in BC, a category of employment that disproportionately is filled by women still. We are taking a stand against gender-based violence with a $23 million investment for services of survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and other crimes, and we will not stop there. As you heard from Premier John Horgan moments ago, our government leads by example as an employer by supporting diversity in the workforce, supporting diversity in our own workplace, providing mentorship so people can get the most out of their careers. Premier Horgan works with a gender-balanced cabinet, and in February, he appointed MLA Mitzi Dean as Parliamentary Secretary for Gender Equity. So she applies a diversity lens to every single policy to ensure that our government programs and services are delivered in a way that addresses equity gaps. BC has more than 1 million people working, the most women working in BC's history, and nearly half of our entire labor force. With the addition of over 900 jobs expected in BC by 2028, women will play an increasingly important role in keeping our economy strong. And that's why our government is partnering with education institutions, industry, and the private sector to help women enter and succeed in STEAM professions. We're also working hard to open up careers for women in trades because women deserve the opportunity to pursue these rewarding, high-paying jobs, and we need their help building the province. We need your help. I believe this work towards gender equity is meaningful and will help to spur positive change. We are living in a time of change, a time where people are experiencing a cultural movement towards gender equity and an end to gender discrimination. I hear women speaking with more certainty, with more confidence about who they want to be and how they want to be treated, whether at home, at school, in their communities, or in the workplace. Women are speaking up and sharing stories about their challenges with gender discrimination, with harassment. And this matters immensely because you cannot effect change with silence. The road to gender equality begins with strong voices in support of ending gender discrimination. And for all of the welcome progress that has been made towards gender equality, there is still a long, long way to go. Use today as your shot to move us further down that road. Think about how you can take action. Because today isn't just about representing women. It is about demonstrating the ability of women. If we're not fully using the talents of nearly half our population in our workforce, then we are holding ourselves back as a province. It is my hope that your participation today will give you the confidence, the skills, and the know-how to thrive in your chosen career. It is my hope that the steps that your generation is taking will mean that your children's generation and all of the women who follow you will have an even greater opportunity to succeed. But we must remember that the momentum for change is not automatic. We cannot sit back and assume that time alone will allow equality to occur. It must be driven forward by committed individuals like yourselves. Constant attention is required to make progress and to ensure that progress made is not unwound. I am proud to be working with a forward-thinking government that wants to create a province where everybody has the ability to thrive. And I am proud of all of you here today who are making important steps to mapping out your careers, creating a warm and welcoming society, and building a better future for every person here in BC. Thank you.